Namaste, viewers, and welcome to our Poetry Lab with Dr. Pariksith Singh. We are discussing his collection of poems, Satya, Poems to My Father, not for my father, okay? I mean, there's a subtle difference. The poems are also for the dear departed father, but they're addressed to him. He is a living presence in each page, each line, in fact, each word of this collection. So congratulations on a wonderful collection, Dr. Singh, once again. And let's go straight into Metamorphosis 1 and 2, page 46.
Metamorphosis, yes. The Metamorphosis I. At the edge of a twig by a faintest thread hangs a monarch's cocoon. Limbs curl within the white sheets of its precipice, the glow of heart suffusing the churn of self-dissolving cell. The pupa is a hurl of mind and body into an unknown tomb, the thin edge of chrysalis at the tear of shell. By a golden ray seen for a brief flutter, the nascent butterfly.
So viewers, please note, it can be tear or tear, right? There's a pun.
Yes.
The shell tears, as it were, if the chrysalis is a shell, so that the butterfly can emerge. But it tears, you know. So the poem is so clearly about a recurring image, a set of images or a set of motifs throughout this collection of rebirth. And, in our tradition, usually death is not a finality, nor is it, that anxious wait for eternity, for Qayamat or the judgment day when the souls are lifted up and so forth. No. We are born and reborn again and again till we reach a state where either this process is self-controlled, self-directed, at will, if you will, or you are not desirous, you're no longer interested in this process. We don't know, but I'm only talking about the theory. But the butterfly, don't forget, we mentioned this in an earlier podcast, is also psyche, right? In the Greek mythology. And psyche means soul. And that's why you say metempsychosis. So see how things are connected east and west. And of course, the Greeks, before they got Christianized, were very much a part of the same ecumeny, that same world where there was rebirth, there were the gods, the world of the gods, almost adjacent to the world of human beings, and the deep interconnectivity between them. But the other thing I again want to point out, hurl, curl, churn, see the way the sounds work in this poem. And look at this wonderful image. The pupa is a hurl of mind and body into an unknown tomb. Why is the pupa a tomb? Because it dies, isn't it? The chrysalis becomes a butterfly, so the cocoon is shed. So it's a tomb, but it's a tomb in which there's a new birth. The tomb here is also a womb and a hurl of mind and body, because it's not only twirled and curled, if you will, but it's also tightly wound, So it's like a zip file, and it unzips and becomes this unimaginably beautiful butterfly. So it's a great image of metamorphosis, as we can see. And again, even in the Western tradition, metamorphosis is a very important idea. And it does talk about our own transformation as human beings, right? Which the Vedas were so deeply concerned with. So let's look at the second poem, and then we'll get the comments from the poet himself. Page 47, please.
The Metamorphosis II. And before I just quickly nota bene, blue morpho and piano key are names of butterflies. Instar is the stage of a caterpillar in its development, so that these are also puns in the poem.
And we've already
Metamorphosis,
seen the monarch.
monarch.
You've introduced us to one of the butterfly species, the monarch.
Yes.
So go ahead.
Out of your heart flew a butterfly. A last flutter of heart as it winged by, my brain an explosion of sky. Out of your heart flew a butterfly. The instar of caterpillar released frailly, and the world its domain of twittering ray. Out of your heart flew a butterfly. As you pulsate the air, vibrant and free, the ocean of light unveils a new journey. Out of your heart flew a butterfly, and there a blue morpho with infinite eye, and its probing kiss of subtle antennae. Out of your heart flew a butterfly, rising in strings of vina, and a lone piano key, the music of stars in orchestral night sky. Out of your heart flew a butterfly. Its tiny flight, infinity to infinity, in a dance of flame the sparks of firefly. Out of your heart flew a butterfly.
So this is such a wonderful poem because it's a kind of glorious celebration of this sort of new birth that we were talking about, subtly hinted in Metamorphosis I. But notice again the refrain, out of your heart flew a butterfly, but the rhymes, butterfly, sky, by, frail lie, ray or rye, free journey, I and tinay or nigh. You know, you have to pronounce it a little differently. Key or kai, sky, butterfly, firefly, and you know, that idea of infiniti, if you like, instead of infinity. So please tell us about this experience, maybe about the butterfly park, though I don't want to give away what really happens, but just briefly, maybe, as you please. It's up to you.
So the metamorphosis is a very interesting word. Of course, as those who love literature and who remember Kafka, remember how the protagonist gets converted into, I believe, a roach. But that was a painful existential motif that he brought up. Our motif here is conversion to something beautiful, something that is so subtle in our life that we have to digest ourselves like a caterpillar, like a pupa digests itself, breaks itself down, destroys itself in the process of consuming itself, and in that process of breaking itself down, something beautiful happens. And that butterfly to us is also takes us to the beautiful vision of Sri Aurobindo and the mother, where transformation, one's own radical metamorphosis is the aim of every human being, transformation to something deeper. And of course, it's our Vedic lineage. It's probably the lineage through all our religions, through different religions, the desire to bring heaven here, right here, and transform ourselves always exists. But something happens within the four dimensions. You're locked in. Now you break through, but something comes out that is free of those dimensions. It's no longer the caterpillar moves in those two dimensions only, or maximum three dimensions, and now you have a butterfly who goes into space. And to us it's a very beautiful image. But then, if, as you beautifully pointed out, it's the psyche, the consciousness that is in our heart, that is eternally living, that is never going to die, and that is beautiful with its love and gratitude, sweetness, light, and a sense of harmony in the universe that it's able to catch. So to me, it was a powerful image that came in a very strong moment of extreme pain, with the realization that um, I had lost him forever, and with that disruption that pain brought, with the final release and the realization that he has become something absolutely beautiful far more beautiful than how I knew him. And that kind of was but at the same time, it's an inner churn where one is oneself transformed in something, some psychic feeling is touched within. So it's I think, as you would say, a mutual metamorphosis for the departed soul and for the soul who is trying to undergo that process.
Yeah, I'm fascinated at how you brought in Kafka, and of course, it's a great work, and I mean, it is frighteningly suffocating in that sense.
Yes.
Because you have this very ordinary guy, 1915, I think it was published,
Yes.
Gregor Samsa, if I
Samsa.
remember his name,
Yes. Yes.
who is a
Gregor Samosa.
traveling, yeah,
Yes.
samosa, well, a traveling salesman, for heaven's sake, and finds
Yes.
himself in a bug's body. It's actually a very powerful critique of anti-Semitism between the wars, actually, or rather, just before it really became full blown from the subtle, whatever ghettos of Prague into this great pogrom and Holocaust that the Nazis mounted. But just imagine being trapped into the body of a bug and not being able to do anything. Now, this poem is actually just the opposite of that. It's a glorious celebration of transformation. But it also, as I said, goes back to Ovid's Metamorphoses, you know, in ancient Greek times, which is actually the history of creation, isn't it? Going way back in time. And then I think Apuleius, he wrote it was also called the Golden Ass, but actually, for Aurobindonians, transformation, not transcendence, is what human life is all about. And here we see that process of transformation, actually, death is not a limit. Death is not a limit. And if you can see that, we've seen earlier on in this collection that idea of the father going into another world and entering, as it were, another embryo, or in this case, another cocoon, right? And so that now we bring those metaphors to, I think, a culmination here when the butterfly has actually emerged, from the pupa, from the instar, as it were, that stage, of the caterpillar. And it's right, because when it bursts, it really becomes like a star, isn't it? So I again think of this as an overmind sort of composition, because it's the rhymes, the vibrancy, all these images, a blue morpho with infinite eye. Because if you see the eyes of these, well, even a dragonfly, it has multiple points. They're tiny. They're made up of. It's a composite eye, I think it's called. A blue morpho with infinite eye, and its probing kiss of subtle antennae. Out of your heart flew a butterfly. So I think after the morning, I think there's a triumphant, almost triumphant sort of celebration. It's almost like, you bring home a little urn of ashes, and then suddenly from that urn of ashes, there's a glorious, uh, like fireworks on 4th of July, something incredible comes out of there.
Yeah.
So please give us your own concluding comments as we bring this episode to an end. Go ahead.
So these butterflies are real. Apparently, one of them was artificially made in the lab of the Butterfly World. This is a place at Palm Beach County, in South Florida, north of Jacksonville. And it was an experience. I had gone there with the family, and I've talked about it. But as I was looking, and I love names, so I saw the instar, and that clicked. And then I saw blue morpho. I said, "Wow, that's a beautiful name." It's a blue. It's absolutely gorgeous blue. And then this butterfly with one eye, when it moves in a certain way, you see only one eye, and then it wings open up, and then you see two. But when it moves in a certain way, it becomes one eye. It's a very interesting butterfly, and it kind of suddenly hit me that there was an eye. When it moves like this, almost like an eye is looking at you. And then I think, my wife Maria, Dr. Scanziano, and she was just admiring the butterflies, and she loves butterflies, anything animal, and the world of plants. And then a butterfly came and sat on her hair, on her head, and she didn't know about it. And our children, we videoed it, and they all took pictures, and that was a very moving, pun intended, moment for me, when it was gently just sat there and fluttered its wings. And it was a moment of, I think, the breakthrough that I needed within to realize it's time to let go. And it's very beautiful being in that place. You're surrounded. Imagine, I mean, for us, all around you have these creatures, little waves moving, ripples of sunlight going through, and these waves, and beautiful fragrance of flowers, and you're intoxicated. It's like a soma of external appreciation. And then suddenly you see this very touching moment, pun intended again, of a butterfly landing on her head, and it just hit me hard. And so that's where this poem came out. And I think there was another poem that came out of this.
Yeah, it's going to come. I think that poem is going to come. So viewers, please look forward to it. And on that note of the blue Morpheus, I was thinking that the wings of the butterfly also have eyes on them. So sometimes, you can actually, as you said, it's like the wings are also like eyes, with
Yes,
with pupils, and with that amazing pattern that the all-seeing, the infinite eye here, the panopticon, if you will.
that's right. It's more like a mosaic view, but yeah, panopticon. That's the technical word to describe it.
So thank you, Dr. Singh, for that very, should I say, touching and personal memory of what happened in that butterfly park. And we will sort of go back to it, we'll return to it when we read a few more poems which are around that theme. Thank you, viewers, for joining us, and do like, share, and subscribe to our channel. And you're most welcome to this celebration of words, of Saraswati, of Paravak, of sound, moving up and down the scale, from Vaikhari, all the way to Para, through, Madhyama and Pashyanti, the seeing word, but returning back to Vaikhari with rhymes, with sound. Thank you, and namaste.